Hi, everyone. Welcome to our February, I can't believe it's February, CX Community of Practice, Rethinking Your Customer Journey. I am Candace Thorson, Managing Editor of GovLoop. I'm your moderator today. So while everybody is joining, I just want to give everybody an opportunity to, if you want to put in the chat where you're coming from, which I always think is cool. And also we have an icebreaker for you if you want to put in the chat also. So it is Olympic time. And I just wondered what your favorite Olympic sport is. So because it's winter, I figured, preferably winter sport, but some people don't like winter Olympics at all. So if nothing strikes you, then what's your favorite summer Olympic sport? So um, I am in New York. As I've said, I am in alpine skiing. I am in like 2.5 hours or something north of Manhattan. But everybody, alpine skiing is cool. Yeah, see, I really like skating, but I find it very stressful. So I can't watch it until after I know like what we scored. So again, now that I know that we won the gold, now I can go back and I can watch it because otherwise it's too stressful. Um, Curling, I just saw a message, by the way, that we just kicked out the Italians. So in the last shot or whatever it's called. So now we're guaranteed a silver. And I don't know who we're playing for the gold, but there was do they call them games or matches? Yesterday.
Match, I think.
I don't know. I'm lucky that yeah, so we already yeah. We play Sweden again. Oh, that's good to know because I
Oh
thought
yeah, be
yesterday's.
careful with spoilers. Someone points out because some people are, you know, looking to watch
Oh,
it
I'm
later.
sorry. I'm sorry. That's a good point. I'm sorry. Well,
Well, I gotta say,
oops.
I'm a curling person. I went to high school in Germany. My father was in the military, and I was on the tennis team and cross country team. And so we had traveled around Germany to different bases. And one time we traveled to a Canadian military base. And after we did whatever we did, I don't remember what sport it was, we went to this club, I guess, and there was curling, and I'd never even heard of it at the time, and I was just totally captivated, and I've loved it ever since. It's just
Yeah.
such a fascinating sport.
It's awesome. And I have to say, like, I don't entirely understand the rules. So I only wind up watching it during the Olympics. And then I think I understand enough. But then sometimes, like, they'll do something, they'll get a point or whatever. And my husband and I are like, wait, how'd they get a point? So we wind up Googling. I know the curling shoes. I just noticed that last night for the first time. They're different. Anyway, I told you, curling is the sport that I always thought I never realized was interesting as it is. Skiing is very cool. I saw something about, Lindsey Vonn or whatever that I didn't see that, but that's really unfortunate. She apparently, um, yeah, what happened to her? Fulton County, Leesburg, ice skating, Missouri, Oh, there was an ice hockey match yesterday with Sweden versus France. So my husband, who doesn't like team sports, whatever, was sort of obsessed with that. Topeka, Kansas. Ooh, the luge. The luge is scary.
Yeah,
You know what? The skeleton. Skeleton is even scarier. That one freaks me. Isn't that the one where they go down like head first?
I think so. Yeah, and it's like you might as well just be lying on a slat of cardboard. It just looks that horrible.
Oh, it's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, this is very cool. Bobsled. But it makes you wonder, like, where these people, where they train, Metro Atlanta. This is great. So what I'm going to do is, to be truthful, we have an absolutely wonderful speaker from the VA who is having trouble logging in. So, so we have with us right now, yeah, ice skating. We have with us right now John Monroe, who you've probably seen here and there. He is director of content with GovLoop. So I think it's very fair to say he is a wealth of knowledge on all things government tech related, and certainly knows the VA. So we are going to have a little bit of a conversation until our VA speaker is able to participate. And I know she's very much interested in joining. Technology is often not all it could be. It's only good when it cooperates, right? So, um, but anyway, we do have the chat like we've talked about. So feel free to pop in and ask any questions or comment whatever you want. But I will just say that one of the reasons why that we're addressing this topic, like we're talking about how agencies can rethink their customer journeys, and one of the reasons that it's so important is because um, people often don't engage with a government agency in a single straightforward way, right? So even if you think about how you interact with an agency for one reason or another, it's probably a much more complicated process. You probably scope out the website at least just once, and then the process could include emails and text messages, a chat bot that you may or may not find helpful, a phone calls and lengthy wait times or whatever. And, wow, you actually may walk physically into an office because people actually still do that occasionally. And that's just your experience right now at this point in your life. So if you think about, say, your retired neighbor who's trying to do exactly the same thing, what kind of experience are they having? So one of the agencies that has been most transformative and really turned themselves around has been the VA. And so when we were thinking about what would be able to, how to address this issue in a way that would be most impactful for people, we realized that the right approach really would be to let the VA tell their story. So what I want to do though is I'm very, very much hoping that we're able to get our speaker, and we are actively working to get her to get on. I know she's very, very much trying. But in the interim, I just wanted to touch base with John and to just, to see like what your thoughts in general, if you have any thoughts on, you know, uh, like the importance of the customer experience, like rethinking the customer experience and, the customer journey and why that's so important these days.
Well, actually, I believe our speaker may be in the room. She
Oh,
raised her hand.
really?
Yeah.
I don't understand technology. Hold
Hey,
on one second.
yeah, Jennifer, if you're in the space, could you put a let's see. Yeah, so
Oh,
we're
okay,
trying
so
to
Maddie
get
is
her.
working on that. I apologize. This is real time, so
Well, let me ask
this
this.
is dynamic.
While we're trying to get Jennifer on, I guess, my question to everyone is, what questions do you have about the customer journey? Because, the customer journey, this is such an important part of CX, is really kind of understanding the customer experience. So, while we get started here, so wonderful, Jennifer, to have you here. If you have questions that you would like to, for us to please put that in chat. But meanwhile, I'll shut up so our real speaker can talk.
So I just wanted to, I don't know how much you heard, Jennifer, but I was just saying that when we were talking, you were talking about the importance of the customer experience and how nobody's customer experience is an easy it's
Right.
often very complicated and stuff.
Right.
And so I was saying that like when we were thinking about how to develop this session in a way that's most impactful, we thought about all the great work that the VA has done and realized that the most effective thing for people attending today is to let the VA tell its story. So I just wanted, I'm really, and this is excellent timing because we literally just started. I want to thank John Monroe. He's a wonderful, wonderful colleague. But anyway, I'm really, really happy to welcome you. Jennifer Purdy leads the Veteran Experience Office's CX Tools and Implementation Directorate. She manages the development implementation of transformational efforts and consultation services with a staff of 54 people around the country. She chairs the National VHA Patient Experience Committee, is vice chair of the VHA Organizational Health Council, and in 2019 was honored with the Service to the Citizen Champion of Change Award. And it's worth noting that she is the daughter of a Vietnam era Air Force veteran and is the wife of an Army veteran. So thank you so much for taking time to join us. I really appreciate it. And for
Awesome.
all your efforts to join.
Oh my heavens, you guys, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no
Um,
problem at all.
the
No
um,
problem at all.
the VA computer would not let me download Zoom. So, because we use Teams in VA. So I'm on my personal cell. So hopefully you can see me and hear me okay.
Oh, yeah, you're totally fine. Absolutely no
Okay,
problem.
great.
No problem. So anyway, lay the groundwork for me. I just talked about how wonderful the VA is and what the Veterans Experience Office does and stuff. So what is the VEO? Like, what do you guys do?
So the Veterans Experience Office is an office that was put in place back in 2014, and it was put in place after what we call the access crisis. But we were on the front page of the paper, and it said VA has waiting lists, and there were cartoons about our waiting rooms, and it was just a really bad time. And we lost a lot of trust with the public and with veterans themselves. And so with the incoming secretary, and we had a new chief experience officer, a brand new position, they came in and said, we're going to bring customer experience from the private sector to VA. And that's how we stood up. And we have, and I'm going to tell you our story, but our job is to make things more effective, efficient, make them easier, and make things emotionally relevant to our customers. And that includes each other as employees, but also to caregivers and to family members and survivors of veterans. So that is our job. And ultimately, it's to build trust in the VA.
And when you're talking about, being emotionally relevant, that's important in general. But certainly when it comes to veterans, there's a special responsibility there.
Yeah,
So,
completely. And
so,
it
oh, go
it
ahead, go ahead.
really, and like I told you in our practice session, please cut me off when you need me to. But I mean, we teach that the difference between customer service and customer experience is that emotional connectedness. It's feeling valued as a customer, and it's feeling valued as an employee. And that's that emotional relevant. And you really can't build trust and really get to experience unless you introduce that into that element of connection.
Now, we talked about how the VA made such a transformation, but that was not an overnight process, right?
Mm.
That took a lot of time. So there's this wonderful slide, which you talk about data storytelling. I think this does a wonderful job. And I will
Yeah.
just tell everybody that you will tomorrow receive an email with, among other things, this PowerPoint. So you can look at this at
Mhm.
your leisure. So, but do you want to just sort of explain a little bit,
Yeah,
like what the journey was, like pull out some highlights from how you got from a
absolutely.
challenging time to now?
Yes. So in 2014 is when woo, we hit the paper. And when we stood up this My VA office, and ultimately in 2015, we stood up this Veterans Experience Office. And you can see the trust down there. We weren't even measuring trust at that time, but our trust, when we measured it, now let me preface this to say this is the healthcare experience journey. The overall VA, looking at receiving benefits or the NCA, cemetery experience or for survivors, we were around 55% at that time. And so I'll come back to that in a minute. But so this kind of takes us through what did we do in healthcare to try to impact and improve. And while in 2015 and 16, when we were building what is experience and how do we want to deliver it at VA, we started with human-centered design and asked veterans, what is experience to you? What do you need from us? What's it like to have care here? And we started specifically honing in on what is the outpatient experience, because that was the largest group of individuals that we took care of. So we kind of focused in there. What's it like to come to a primary care provider? What's it like to get medication? What's it like to get x-rays and laboratory work done? And we found through this human-centered design study, and we developed this journey map, we found 5 moments that mattered the most to our patients. It was getting an appointment when they needed it, knowing how to get there. When they arrived, understanding how to navigate through our system and our wayfinding. Um, a tidbit about veterans is, and I didn't see how many individuals were veterans, but the veterans know this for sure. If you are 5 minutes early to your appointment, you're really 5 minutes late, because you have to be you always have to be at an appointment before. And so this is kind of embedded into a veteran's mindset. And so when they come in and it's hard to navigate and they're worried about being early or really in their mind on time for their appointment, it just builds this anxiety and this frustration. So knowing our customer and knowing that part of them, I think, is another example of what we learned through human-centered design. But so we have, and there's several moments that matter to patients. But what we did next was kind of introduce some foundational tools that really looked at engaging leaders, engaging staff, and really creating this this visual touch point that customer experience was here and we were doing things, something that would be visible to a veteran. I want to back up for just a second and say that in 2017, I'll say JAMA did us the biggest favor ever, because when they published this article about the VA, and they said that we gave as good care or better than the private sector, and they were using the CMS scores to say that. But they also said, when you look at the HCAP scores, we actually underperform the private sector in every element. And the VA, that was like our whoa wake up call. So we had that, we had, all this stuff that had happened through access and this loss of trust. We had done human-centered design. We understood what mattered to patients now. And so we said, okay, we're going to roll out some things to focus leaders, focus staff, and to let veterans know we're doing something. So the let veterans know we're doing something is the Red Coat Ambassador Program. You can just barely make out a little kind of red looking coat at the bottom there. But that was a person or people that were placed at major entry points, so that when a veteran got there, they were worried about how to go, how to navigate our system. There was a Red Coat Ambassador. They gave them a warm welcome. A lot of them were veterans themselves, and they helped show the veteran to their appointment, to the waiting room, get them to the right elevator. So it was kind of I'm here, the VA's got me. And so that was kind of a visual element that we put in place for veterans to know something was happening to. So we did that, and then we started introducing measurement. So we call it our V signals, and it's basically measuring the 3 E's in trust. But from that human-centered design journey map, we studied the most important moments that mattered, and then we put metrics to them. So we did not say, what are the CMS metrics? Let's just ask those questions. You're not supposed to do that anyway, but what we did is we said, what moments matter most to our patients? And that's what we're going to measure. So for ours, it was, did you get an appointment when you needed it? Were you able to find your way to your appointment? Did you have a connection with your provider and felt heard? Did you understand what the next steps were in your care? What was your pharmacy experience like, lab and x-ray? So we knew that and we asked, specifics based on what they needed, but that helped us kind of hone in on what the veterans said the problems were, so that we actually fixed what they needed. So we started doing that, we started measuring, and then we developed a maturity model that just kind of we have 141 medical centers in the VA healthcare system. There's 400,000 employees. We take care of 9 million veterans. And what we did is, every hospital is in a different place. Some were really doing great, some not so much. And so we kind of laid out some criteria on what the maturity model would look like and where organizations were. And then from there, we built self-assessments and helped them medical centers to develop action plans, so we could hone them in on, here are 2 or 3 things to start with this year, and then kind of move. So we went on, we kept going. We introduced a symposium, which is like our basic way of sharing, I always say the mojo, but spreading the mojo of customer experience and patient experience, understanding, finding best practices, bringing in speakers. And it was like how we were building the knowledge, but we also added in recognition and praise. So the medical centers that were the best got a trophy from the secretary in front of all the other leaders. And the
That's
medical
cool.
center that was improving or had improved the most in outpatient or an inpatient, they got a trophy. And you know what that does? That creates that sense of, wow, look what's happening here. I want one of those trophies. So we did that. Then we started to build Customer Experience University. We have our own university that takes people through the elements of what successful customer experience looks like, how to do change management, how to really sustain a tool that you were going to roll out across the system, how to measure it, those types of things. That's what we add that. We put ourselves into the governing system of the organization. So governance was key to ensuring that at a national perspective that we all understood that the customer experience we were going to deliver was this. We call it owning the moment at the VA. And the
Hmm.
way we were going to do it was through that. And so that helped us
Yeah.
standardize through the 141 sites.
Yeah. I have a question.
Yeah.
So, of all the things that you guys have done, and there's so many, like, websites and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. What are some of the things that you think had made most of a difference? And there are some things you mentioned, and for everybody, I love the red coat ambassador thing. And
Uh-huh.
just for people participating, what you're referring to is up in the top left there. I think that little
Yeah.
box with that little red thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
It's
the
really
that's
small.
the ambassador. It's
Mm-hmm.
really small, but when you look at it like at your leisure and stuff, when you get the email, you can blow it up and see the writing a little better. But yeah, I love that. But what things that have you done that you think made like the most difference? And I'm just
Mm-hmm.
mentioning
Okay.
like redoing your
Yeah.
website. Was that one of the biggest things or
Well,
whatever?
I would say measurement was probably the biggest thing. So, like, I can tell you right now that after we introduced the Red Coat Ambassador, we saw an improvement by 6 percentage points that said I was able to get to a 5 mile appointment. So, we knew it was working. So, I would say measurement because when you talk to your CEO or your CFO that's trying to get you, you're trying to get the checkbook out, they need to understand what is the so what and did it work and show me. And so I would say understanding how to build in tactical deployment of experience with measurable objectives was probably a key success for us there. So that was one. I would say leadership engagement, you can't do any of this if the leader doesn't say I want to do this. So I think that, and then I think the other piece was leveraging human-centered design and focusing on what mattered to the customer versus what we think is wrong.
Yeah.
So I would say just, and we had to show people what right looked like. That's the
Yeah.
customer experience expectations. And we created recognition and, um, like we have a Red Coat Ambassador of the Year. Every year we have a red coat
Oh,
that
neat.
comes from all across the country, and there's one that is selected, and there that. So creating that moment of pride and that whatever that is, I think those types of initiatives really helped propel us and then sustain us. And when you look at the end here, just kind of skipping forward, I mean, you can see in VA that we improved from 85% of veterans. That's 9 million veterans. Well, let's see. The sample
Yeah.
size I think we've got about 3 million of them sampled, but or maybe actually a little bit more than that. I can get you that number. But we went from 85 up to almost 94. We could call it 94 if we didn't have that dot there, right? So there's that. But then I think what's most impressive is when you look at the 2024, 2023, 2024, we actually got a call from CMS and they said, what are you guys doing at the VA? And that's when we topped the system and we started to realize that we had more 4 and 5 star hospitals than the private sector at the VA. In fact, at
Oh,
one
that's awesome.
time in the state of South Carolina, there was one and it was a VA. And we were like, what's
Oh, that's
happening?
awesome.
But it took all that time and all those key initiatives and focus and continued repetitive mojo building to get to this place where we could all of a sudden say, wow, and now we've sustained it. So I know we have another chart that you'll show eventually that shows you the movement that we've had in the CMS scores. That now you guys know that that's for inpatient experience, but um, being able to really showcase what changes we've built.
So there's a question from somebody that I want to offer. So,
Okay.
what is your recommendation for a veteran in Michigan who's having a negative CX experience? Is there a liaison
Yeah.
for VAs or VAs in Michigan?
Yes,
What's
we
your
have an
suggestion?
Office of Client Relations that absolutely we can get you. I will maybe if you can either share my email. I don't know how to do this because I don't know who the person is, but we can get you that number and we can get you one. The Office of Client Relations allows us to track it nationally, but they have patient advocates there at that facility that we can find out, or they also have a veteran experience officer. So we need to understand what the issue is, and then we can get you to the right person and get it fixed.
So why don't the person who put that in the chat, my email address is going to be on the last slide. So why don't you just email me your issue your contact information and such, and I'll pass it along to Jennifer. So that'd probably be the best way to do
Yep,
it. And I'll make sure that
absolutely.
I pass it on.
Yep,
And
and
we'll
we'll
get you the
just
help you
connect
need.
and we'll get whoever that is taken care of.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks so much for reaching out and for offering, Jennifer. So this
Yeah.
is the slide that you're talking about, but
Yeah.
I can't believe we're running out of time. But
Yikes. Okay.
uh, but what best practices would help
Okay.
agencies improve their CS? So most VA is unique, right? But there are things that can help other agencies, right? So what best practices would you offer agencies to, think about?
I would say leader rounding is number one. You got to get leaders engaged. They got to get out of their office. They got to walk the front line. They need to be able to talk to staff. They need to be able to talk to patients, find out what's right, find out what's wrong, and then do something about it. That is hands down the thing that creates the most synergy to get the most trust built and the most action happening. When the boss listens and they actually do something about it, it builds trust with the employee. It also corrects a customer experience issue and does service recovery. So I would say leader rounding is the most effective.
And just as somebody put in the chat, I have great success scheduling with my VA, both in person and online, typically very flexible. They then do a great job with reminders, both by text and phone call. I've selected both. So kudos, because that's an example of what you guys are doing is working. So
Mm-hmm.
if you had to leave people with two takeaways, and when I
Mm-hmm.
interview people, I usually ask like what two takeaways, and sometimes I think that's the hardest question. But if
Yeah.
you had to leave people with two takeaways today, what would you want them to know?
One, it takes a while. So give yourself some grace. All right. So I don't expect this to happen at once. And depending on how big you are, depends on how big that ship is that needs to turn. And give yourself give yourself some time and set some realistic expectations for yourself. You're doing good. And the people on this call and the folks who are mission driven, focused on making it better for the customer, thank you. Thank you for what you do. You don't get a lot of thanks. And you are a key to making things better, really, human for humanity. I know that sounds crazy, but it is. And being able to develop customer experience really brings compassion back into any sort of encounter and exchange that we have. So I would say that's one. It takes a while. Keep the mojo going. Don't set yourself some realistic expectations. The other thing is don't assume that everybody understands what connection and compassion is. I think that sometimes people think customer experience is the happy stuff, the fun party, the whatever. But what it truly is understanding what matters most to this person that you're taking care of, and then what drives that employee so that they can deliver that best customer experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking from the chats and everything. Yeah, there's somebody who just put, as a 3 decades of armed service, it sounds to me that VHA did more than messaging. Sounds like they designed their way out of the negative customer experiences. Sounds like they changed structures, norms, and pathways to care for and be responsive to veterans. That's very true. And that's why, like I said in the beginning, when we were thinking about how to play out this session and we were trying to figure out how to explain it, we just, knowing what we did about the VA, we just realized that we had to let you talk about what you guys have done. So, thanks so much for time today. I'm sorry there were some technical issues,
Sorry
um,
too.
but it is real. It is real life. We didn't record this.
That's right. And I just want to say thank you to the veterans out there that served, and thank you to those who stood by your veteran as they served. And if you're not using the VA, please come give us a chance. We want to take care of you.
That's wonderful. So thank you, everyone. So just as a heads up, our next CXCOP is going to be on March 16th. It's also a Monday, also at 4 p.m. We're going to talk about how digital experience can support crisis response. So that should be a really interesting discussion. If you want to be a COP speaker, just drop me an email. It's down there towards the bottom, candace.thorson@govloop.com. Be sure to check out the monthly newsletter. There are helpful resources, including the information on this session as well. It also has a link to join our LinkedIn group. So feel free to do that, get colleagues to do that, etc. And if you have ideas and topics you think would be cool for us to talk about, then just send me an email too, and we'll be sure to take an interest in that because we're always interested in trying to respond to what you want. So I hope that you continue enjoying your favorite Winter Olympics. I hope curling continues to be as fascinating and figure skating and all that kind of stuff. And on behalf of GovLoop and everybody here, I just want to say thank you for everything you do all the time. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks a lot.
Bye bye, everyone.